Welcome back, everyone. It's Vicki at My Creative Corner 3, where I'm doing all of those granny hobbies. I just love them so much. This week on the podcast, we're going to talk about the summer bucket list, what some goals are for the summer and the year, which are different from the bucket list, and talking a little bit about what I've been up to lately. Well, here on the 45th parallel in northern Michigan, it has been a heat dome. I never heard of a heat dome before, but I sure know what it is now. It's been hot, really hot. I mean, 80s to high 80s, occasionally close to the 90-degree mark with 50+% humidity. I have a hygrometer on my porch with the plants, and yeah, we are at 48% humidity today. So it's been hot, which brings up a lot of pop-up storms, strong winds as they build up across Lake Michigan and blow across our county. And it's been a week of intense sun and intense storms, lots of intense things. Work has been intense too. I mean, I think the weather, the full moon, everything affects everybody. And I am ready for the long weekend. This is July 3rd, and many of us have today off who work Monday through Friday jobs because it is a holiday weekend. And I decided that I wanted a weekend home. My husband was thinking maybe we could go somewhere. It's a 3-day weekend, but I'm really kind of tired. I'll tell you what we've been up to. At the end of June, we went the weekend of Juneteenth down to Meyer Garden in Grand Rapids. They had a glass display of Chihuly, I believe is how you say, art glass. It was beautiful. It was huge. There were some things that were stories high. There were some things that were very small, but mostly it was 60 years of his life, and he's still an artist making glass. And I'll be honest, it's way more complicated than I thought it was going to be, and way more interesting. So if you ever have a chance to go see any of his art glass displays, it's great to go to a botanical garden because the outdoor pieces, which are very large, they blend in with the flowers and the trees and things, and it was quite stunning. I also, then the next weekend, went to the car races, ARCA races, down in New Berlin Raceway, I think it's called, in Marne, Michigan, north of Grand Rapids. So we got to see our son for 2 weekends in a row, walked a lot, and guess what else? Oh, that car race was after, that was on Juneteenth. Yeah, I'm confused because the following weekend we also saw him, and it was the Highland Games. So the Highland Games was great. My husband did compete in them. And the festival is small, so we got to have, flavor of the festival. I got lots of steps in, and by the very end of the day, my heels were telling me about them being tired. For the first time all day, I was really excited. If you remember in the spring before our vacation, I pulled both Achilles tendons and calves. And it's been a very long, slow process of healing, 90 days with intentional exercises and going to a rehabilitative chiropractor. So anyways, that was Juneteenth weekend, Father's Day weekend. We went to the car races. I want to say the ARCA races, if you're into car racing at all, was amazing. Those cars are very, very powerful and very loud and very, very fast. So I had a great time for 2 weekends out in the sun, out in the heat, and this weekend under the heat dome, and our little tourist town being incredibly packed already. We may do a couple little outings here or there. We were just talking about that, my husband and I, like, do you have any plans? No, I don't have any plans. Do you want to go anywhere? I don't really know. It's just so packed with people. You don't want to cross the bridge to go to the UP. I don't really want to go to the beaches because if it's nice, it's going to be packed. Rock hunting is always a fun thing I like to do. But honestly, I just want to putter in the garden. And July is going to be kind of the dog days of summer for me. I'm choosing to not go to a Highland game in Ann Arbor next weekend because it's probably going to be hot and it's difficult to see the games for me. And I think overall, it's just going to be puttering around for the 4th of July. And I might even just log on to a live fireworks show online. Yeah, sometimes, it's fun to be old. My summer bucket list was something that kind of came up because June just slipped on by so fast, and I'm realizing my 90 days of summer is going to get away from me if I don't really have an intentional plan. So the first thing on the summer bucket list is saying yes to more things that I love. And those were things like those trips to the Meyer Garden and the car races and the Highland games. Also, I said yes to going to another game that I've always wanted to go to, and that's in Dublin, Ohio. It's going to be hard. I haven't been able to do more than a few thousand steps a day, but I'm feeling better. My balance is better. My walking is better. And I bought an exercise bike, and we're getting the garage gym set up. Maybe this weekend we'll get it finished, set up, and I can test the bike out and start doing daily bike riding, which is what my doctor was recommending. And with my balance, it's not going to be a regular e-bike or pedal bike. It's going to be a stationary gym bike. So I am excited to try out the concept exercise bike. I have a concept rowing machine, and I'm hoping to get strong enough to do both of those cardio machines. And the Dublin Highland Games in Ohio, outside of Columbus, bills itself as expecting 100,000 people and the largest Irish festival in all of the world. So I want to go. I'm not getting any younger, as my last birthday reminded me. And I thought, say yes, you want to go. Take the day off of work that we need to accommodate travel. And while he's judging a game, I won't miss any problems with his competition, any of highlight pictures I may want to get. But overall, it's going to be listen to the music, see bands that I haven't seen before, and enjoy all of the energy of the festival. I also want to say yes to being open to impromptu things that may come up and be able to just leave the routine and say, sure, let's go try that. So those are the kind of things I want to do for the summer, but I also want to be very intentional about how I'm spending my time in mindful living, which brings me around to the Analog Life Project. How is that going? Well, it was going great. And then, some of the traveling, I'm back on the phone doing social media and things, and that's okay. I decided I don't want my life to be 100% analog because we need to have the internet through the days to do so many functions like order my Amazon orders in Amazon Prime days. Oh my gosh, yes, I had to indulge on a couple of things that were on great sales, things that I needed. I also need my phone for all the apps like HelloFresh and ordering my food and monitoring my diabetes, my blood sugar, and diet logging the food app, all of that. So it's more about how I'm using those apps and how much time I'm letting get sucked away from days that I could be doing other things. It's hard to explain. So it's a subtle difference, but I am not going all in. I'm going to dip my toes in the water. I've always tried to live a more analog life. I don't count YouTube as being a negative thing. That's where we watch a lot of our shows, and some of them on Netflix. I don't think that's a bad thing. And I do enjoy sports and all kinds of entertainment. So it's more about being intentional with the tools we have and how we choose to use them. But I have found myself kind of falling into the short reels, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. And I think all the studies that I've read are showing that it's the short, quick, reel type of media that's not the best for our brain. And some of it is really quite brain rot, to be honest, even though it's fun. So I'm trying to not waste too much time. Some a little bit a day is okay, but not a lot of time on what I'm calling brain rotting things. You know, when your grandma said you used to watch too much TV, your brain was going to turn to jello. Yeah, you could do the same with your phone. So those are some of my bucket lists, the goals and intentions. And I was looking at my goals from the beginning of the year, which is making 2026 the year of finishing things. So I am very excited to say that I finished quilting my family size potato chip quilt that's multiple colors, and it's destined to be donated in a silent auction. So it's long armed and I need to bind it. So I finished that step, which was a huge, huge obstacle. I loaded my Barn Star quilt, which is about a 40-inch red and white star. It's a Cora Yoder pattern, and I love it. It's going to go at work, and I have one more row to finish. And then it was so close to being done at the end of June, but it's going to count. I also have been finishing up my Granny Square cardigan project. I had all of the Granny Squares done, which is right around 68, I think. And I made extras in case I need to do gussets underneath the sleeve and where the sleeve, the back, and the front join. But overall, I am assembling all of the rows, and I have a layout, and I'm going to be done with that before the cool breezes start in September. So once it's assembled, I need to do the edging and crochet deciding if I want like a button placard or a rib type of finish on the cuffs and it's a cardigan, so where buttons could go, and then maybe just do a simpler stitch around the neck opening and the very bottom. So that's been a long time coming project, and I'm very, very excited. I also finished crocheting all 25 of my pink and white grannies, and once the cardigan is done, I'm going to assemble that in a square, and I think I'm going to just use it as a table topper, and that's that yarn. It was just kind of random skeins left from my wrap project. Yeah, I think my next project is going to potentially be another wrap or a shawl, but I don't know. I kind of loving the block by block method versus trying to crochet out something really, really long like a wrap or a blanket. So I may just crochet everything I have in my stash into granny squares, because I'm finding that I wished I would have known earlier in my crochet career that mastering something as simple as a granny square can lead to many, many projects. I have never made a granny square scarf. How fun. It would be perfect. I've never made a granny square bucket for, tote or bucket or for sewing notions or things. I've made some plant pot covers. I've just done a lot of things, and I'm finding you can make a tote bag, you could make a purse, you could make a scarf. I've seen granny square fingerless gloves. I've seen leg warmers. I wouldn't wear leg warmers, but people make them. How about a bucket hat from Granny Squares? All kinds of cool things. So I may just continue using Granny Squares as my evening meditation. It's very, very zen to just sit and crochet grannies and then pick different colors and play around with color combinations. And I have lots of colors that I bought in the Barocco yarn. I tried it for the piece by piece knitting project. It's just not the right yarn for that. And what I love about it is it's a cotton yarn, and it's going to be great in all of the granny squares. So, a word of encouragement. If you're learning something, a craft like knitting or crocheting or even quilting, if you learn how to do one or two basic things, you can expand upon that and make so many more things. You don't have to keep getting more skills. You can really hone in on it and become an expert, which leads to my July thoughts of pottery, taking pottery class, July and August. I'd like to do that. Put that on the list, Vicki, for my bucket list. What else have I worked on? I've been working on my commonplace book, and some people have specific things they want to learn and put it in as a commonplace book of knowledge. But what I'm doing is I have this fabulous sticker book that I bought on Amazon on a chance. It's called John Dinan, Dinan, paper company, has museum quality stickers, museum art. And some of them are all the Victorian botanical drawings. Some of them are just fun scenes and pictures of portraits. Oh, it's got bugs, it's got butterflies, it's got trees, it has all kinds of things. And when you're done with the stickers, on the back is printed things that you could cut out and use for journaling projects. So I'm collecting quotes. And what I think is great is it's a very diverse book of themed stickers. So they are in a journal I bought at a gift shop. It's handmade looking with leather covers, and it looks like it's been hand sewn, the signatures in, and it's got a leather strap to bind it. And it's small. It's, probably if you were to take a standard size notebook page size and fold it in half. That's the size of the pages. So you can do a layout that's about the size of a notebook page and put several stickers on and collect many quotes about the theme of the stickers. And so I found some shockingly wonderful quotes for pear trees this week, and moths, and transformation, and just loads and loads of fun. So if you want to do an art journal light and make it easy without doing the full mixed media type of art journal, which I still want to do, but it's a time thing because it needs more time for everything to dry in collection of ephemera and painting and fussy cuts. But stickers are almost like an instant gratification project. And I have my sticker book actually at my desk. And when I am taking my break, sometimes I'll pull out the journal, add a couple stickers, Google a couple of quotes, and within a short period of time, I have a beautiful layout. Instant, because the pages are already over dyed and the pages have this old frayed edge. I love it. It's really a great reset of the mind and being intentional, especially when you're having a busy day at work. So that's really what I've been up to over the last couple of weeks. And I still have some other fun things planned for August, which includes the Grand Rapid Quilt Show. No class, but I just didn't have classes available during time slots that I was available, and I didn't want to be down there, like take a class on Wednesday, hang out Thursday, Friday, and be at the show till Saturday, because it's in my backyard. Well, 4 hours away versus Paducah, which is, I don't know, 15 hours away. Felt like 2 days of driving for me. And not this year, but my husband and I are looking at going to the International Quilt Show in Houston one day. So I would like to ask you as listeners a couple of things. I'm looking at going to Houston, and if you could leave me tips, tricks, or send me an email at vholloway12345@gmail.com on tips and tricks on how to have a successful trip to Houston International Quilt Show. I know this is a show you're going to need several days, especially if you get tired like I do. But what is there to do? Where did you stay? What kinds of things would you buy at the show? And then the second thing that I'm looking for, kind of hive mind from other quilters, is I'm looking to upgrade my Janome Magnolia 7330. It's probably 15 years old. It is a workhorse. It's a great sewing machine. But I'm ready to expand and upgrade. And I'm looking at several other Janomes. The M8 is the top drawer. It's just a professional level sewing machine. And that's really probably a little more than what I need. And I'm looking at, and I've asked this in my Facebook group, and I got several beautiful answers that gave me lots of things to think about. I've decided I don't think I really need a full-on embroidery machine. But the only thing I want to embroider is my name or a quilt label once in a while. And many higher-end machines have letters and alphabet capabilities. So that would probably work. What I liked about the M8 and some of these other higher-end machines is that they have a stitch regulator in them, and I really want a fine quality stitch. If it could sew a lot of things like bags and leather straps, that would be a bonus. If it could do free motion quilting for small projects that I don't have to load on the long arm frame, that would be a bonus. But I don't think I need a serger. I want to play around with garment making, but I don't think I need anything like an all-in-one machine that's a high-end Bernino. I think that's just too much, and I don't want to spend that much money. So I'm looking for information, because you can listen to salesmen at quilt shows or go to sewing centers, and they're good at pointing out all of the things that I think I have to have. But I want a machine heavy enough to bind a quilt if I bought the binding foot, and I want a machine that will give me really pretty stitches through several layers, as well as make quilt jackets and bags, and potentially high-end enough to do a fine seam for sewing clothing. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But I don't know anything about buying sewing machines. I'll be honest, this Janome is the first sewing machine I've ever bought for myself. I've always been given one, borrowed some from family, so I don't know what really there is out there. And then I start getting overwhelmed at sewing centers in quilt shops. So I've been just kind of watching videos and comparing and contrasting all the things out there. But I know you can buy way more than you'll ever use, but I don't want to underbuy that doesn't have room for expansion. So those are a couple of things that I would love to hear what you think about them. And what did you buy as a retirement gift for yourself? So I'm looking at 2 more years before I hit that, and I want to buy myself a nice sewing machine for retirement and something that I don't need to take a whole college course to learn how to use. I already have a long arm, and I'll have my little Janome for portability. So if it's a big machine that's too heavy to take places, that's okay, because I know I'll have my little workhorse to be able to go to Quilt Guild. The other thing is, in the future, I want to take a couple of fun little classes to learn how to make things, and maybe if there was like some online education with that machine, let me know. So anyway, I thought today would be a fun check-in for the 4th of July weekend, and I hope you have a lovely holiday here in the United States as we celebrate. And to all my friends all around the world who listen, thank you for coming back and listening. I hope your weekend is fabulous. And everyone who is in the heat dome, stay hydrated. Stay in the shade, be cool, and take time every day to work on not only your 15 minutes of making on whatever you're inspired to make right now, but do a little self-care. It's a beat the heat tip from me. Have a great one, everyone. Create on.